I think HR is already becoming much more prominent. If I think back to my early days, most SAP customers didn't even think about HR. Whereas now, if I think back to recent years, it's not uncommon to have a customer come to you with an HR requirement and to be implementing SAP for the first time because they've got an HR requirement, rather than, well, we put all the other modules in place, I suppose we better do HR, which was typically the attitude in the early days, because HR wasn't a business priority. People didn't see that it was worth investing in, whereas now they do see that it's worth investing in. And also, I guess just the delivery method for HR has changed. So the fact that we have self-service applications, the fact that everybody knows how to use a web browser, whether you're booking a train ticket or an airline ticket or you're buying something, people know how to use web browsers. And that has penetrated within organizations to a level where people doing HR functions for themselves, whether they're booking some holiday or filling out an appraisal, or managers gathering that information for themselves, that's become widespread. And it's bound to continue because, in some respects, it's a no-brainer. Okay? It saves costs, it creates empowerment for employees, and it allows your company culture to permeate much better to every single member of your organization. And as well as that, it's a springboard to new technologies. It allows you to do certain things that you simply couldn't have done without that access to each person. A big promise for the future in terms of HR implementations that implement SAP to do it, I think, is getting alignment between company performance and individual performance. Okay? This is something that the technology can now do this. When an employee comes into their office or their workplace on a day-to-day basis, that in their head, their objectives are focused on things that are going to align to what the company is trying to do in terms of its strategy. Now, you can only do that with technology. You can only do that by putting in place a performance management system that's linked to something like compensation, so that little switch in people's heads that's motivating them because they want to go on a holiday or whatever it is, that their every action is aligned in the same direction, so people aren't pulling in different directions. That really is the really big promise. Now, to do that, you not only need things like performance management and talent management, but you need a reporting solution around it. Because today's businesses are dynamic, they evolve, they change. So how your business is today isn't the same as it's going to be, say, in a year's time. So you've got to be able to look at trends and you've got to be able to analyse them, and from that you've got to refine your strategy. So for me, that's the piece that's missing. People come in, they think they've got an idea about what their talent management strategy is or what their HR service delivery plan should be, but they don't necessarily think about the fact that that idea might be wrong in 6 months' time, it might be wrong in a year's time. Put in place the tools that allow you to track it, monitor it, and refine it. And that, given that you can do that with SAP, that's a fabulous promise for the future.